A warm welcome to TV Africa News and thank you for always joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Najma Lima, but first are the headlines. Party organizer arrested after 10 killed in mall crash. Joint DRC-Uganda operation frees 100 hostages held by ADF rebel group. Fans mourn Pele at public viewing in Brazil Stadium. Welcome once again, now the news in detail. Uganda police said on Monday that they had arrested one of the organizers of a New Year's Eve party where 10 revelers died in a crash. Local media identified the man as a music promoter, Abe Musinguzi of Abitex Promotions. We have more. Abe Musinguzi of Abitex Promotion is well known for organizing major events in the capital Kampala. His party was in the popular Freedom City shopping mall in the city's Namasuba suburb. Police initially said 5 people had died at the scene and 4 others died of their injuries at the hospital where they had been taken for treatment. The victims were among a crowd that packed into a small passageway to watch the fireworks display outside. According to a police spokesman, Fred Enanga, the public found themselves in this bottleneck because the organizers of the event had closed 4 other exit points. He added that investigators are trying to find out if the tragedy was caused by their negligence. Enanga said that the public had only one entry and exit point, and as a result, several victims found themselves trapped in this narrow passage. These New Year celebrations in Uganda were the first in 3 years after restrictions due to the COVID-19 pandemic and security problems. Around 100 civilians who were abducted by a rebel group in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo have been rescued in a combined DR Congo-Uganda military operation. The Allied Democratic Forces rebel group, which is Islamist in its ideology and operates in both DR Congo and Uganda, had been holding the civilians. We have more on this report.
For about 2 months, the air forces of DRC and Uganda had been striking the strongholds of the ADF rebels in Mwalika and Nzulebe valleys, Lusilobi at the confluence of the Semliki River in Beni in North Kivu province, and in Beu near Boga in Irumu territory, Ituri province. Some of the former hostages, which included women and children, were abducted from different villages in different locations. According to the spokesman for the operation Shuja, Lieutenant Colonel Mark Hazuke, the best thing they did was to bomb, which he believes had an effect. He added that the same exercise that is being done in the Rwenzori Massif and in the Mwalika Valley is also being done on the Ituri side in the vicinity of Boga, Kainama, Chapi and surroundings. After the destruction of their camps, the ADF rebels dispersed even further into areas not covered by the coalition forces, allowing them to attempt to regroup.
Tram and bus workers in the Tunisian capital staged a strike over delays in salaries and the lack of an end-of-year bonus on Monday, creating traffic jams across Tunis. The strike is the latest in a string of similar actions as Tunisia grapples with an economic crisis that has led to frequent shortages of basic goods from petrol to cooking oil. The North African nation is struggling with debts of more than 100% of gross domestic product and is in negotiations with the International Monetary Fund for a nearly $2 billion bailout. Staff from the state-owned public transport firm Trust 2 walked out and hundreds demonstrated outside the Prime Minister's office, responding to a call by the transport section of the powerful UGTT Trade Union Federation. Trust 2 said that the strike froze the majority of transport services across the capital of almost 3 million people. The Transport Ministry said that the wildcat strike paralyzed transport across Greater Tunis, disrupting the functioning of public services and the interests interests of the citizen. It is said trustees' salaries had been paid starting from December 29th, and that the real reason for the strike is a different set of financial demands in the form of an annual bonus to more than 7,000 staff worth more than $5 million US. Let's take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, The Right to Know. Two Senegalese opposition MPs were sentenced on Monday to 6 months in prison for hitting a fellow MP in the National Assembly.
On 1st December, MP Massata Samb attacked his colleague Amin Diaye from the gallery over the statement she had made against Mostafa Sy, the leader of the main opposition coalition, the Party of Unity and Gathering, who is not a member of parliament but is an influential marabout in Senegal. The images that have taken the Senegalese social media by storm show Massata Samb and his colleague Mamadou Niang slapping and kicking the pregnant Mrs. Ndiaye in her stomach during assembly. Amin Ndiaye was hospitalized after the incident and risks losing the baby she's carrying, her lawyer Babouke Cisse said during the trial. She has been released from hospital but remains in an extremely difficult situation, he added. The two parliamentarians, imprisoned since 15th December, were tried on 19th December by the Court of Flagrant Daily Court in Dakar.
The Economic Community of West African States had given Mali until January 1st to release 46 Ivorian soldiers. It claims all mercenaries. However, the date has now passed and the 46 soldiers who were sentenced to 20 years in prison have not been released. Let's take a look. On 22nd December, a visit to Bamako by an official Ivorian delegation ended with the signing of a memorandum with the Ivorian Minister of Defense, Tene Bilahima Ouattara, brother of the head of state, stressing that the matter was on the way to resolution. It appears that as relations between Mali and Cote d'Ivoire have improved significantly with the memorandum recently signed by two governments, ECOWAS considers it is not the time to create new tensions. The agreement reached between Mali and Ivory Coast leaves open the possibility of a presidential pardon for the head of the Malian military junta, Assimi Goïta. Therefore, all eyes are now on Koloba, the seat of the presidential palace in Bamako. And to speed up the process that could lead to a pardon, the defense lawyers have filed an act of non-appeal to certify that they renounce all means of appeal. According to Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara, the soldiers will soon return to Ivorian soil. In our business news today, hundreds of Senegalese civilians demonstrated in Dakar on Saturday by banging pots and pans during President Macky Sall's end-of-year speech.
Both the demonstration and Friday's protests were to demand legal action against a report on the management of anti-COVID funds found to contain numerous irregularities. The opposition has reportedly denounced the authority theft after an audit by the Court of Auditors pointed shortcomings, overbilling, and lack of evidence of expenditure. The crowd gathered at the Place de la Nation in Dakar under the call of a dozen civil society organizations, shouting thieves and you will not digest our billions. A large police force was deployed around the square to supervise the rally, which was authorized by the prefect and supported by the opposition, which has reportedly denounced the authority theft in recent days.
In our health news today, Malawi has delayed the opening of public schools in the southern African countries' two major cities of Blantyre and Lilongwe, according to the health minister, to try to slow down a surge in cholera deaths. The total number of cases and deaths has accelerated to 17,824 and 595 respectively since cases were first reported in March, with the mortality rate increasing to 3.34% according to the Ministry of Health. Cholera is an annual problem during Malawi's rainy months from November to March, where the number of deaths is around 100 a year, but the current outbreak is expected to be the worst yet. Health Minister Kumbize Chiponda said in a statement that due to the continuing increase of cholera cases and deaths in the cities of Blantyre and Lilongwe, primary and secondary schools in the two cities will not start on 3rd January as earlier advised. She said that a new reopening date will be announced later. The UN Health Agency says fatality rates are rising in about 30 countries around the world that reported cholera outbreaks in 2022, about a third higher than in a typical year. Cholera is spread by contaminated food or water and can cause acute diarrhea. And in sports, mourners on Monday queued to see Pele's coffin in the Abano Caldeira Stadium, the home of the Brazilian football legend's longtime club, Santos. We have more with Ahumuza.
The three-time World Cup champion's coffin left Albert Einstein Hospital in Sao Paulo early on Monday and was taken to the stadium where he played some of the best matches of his career for the Santos Soccer Club. The club said in a statement that the public would be able to pay their last respects at the stadium in the coastal city outside Sao Paulo. Visiting hours were expected to start at 10 a.m. local time, and it's expected to close same time on Tuesday when the private burial ceremony would be held. Pele died on Thursday, December 29th at the age of 82 after a long battle with cancer. Pele had a colon tumor removed in September 2021. Neither his family nor the hospital has said whether it had spread to other organs.
That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned. More programming coming your way.